Good morning here in Silicon Valley at 11th Cloud Expo. Day 4 we've reached now. Not quite done. Never done until we hear from HP, which we haven't done from the main podium. So let's hear about HP's public cloud activities, running its HP Cloud Services division, or whatever he's going to tell us it describes itself as, is Dan Baigent. So let's give him thunderous applause and hear about unleashing the enterprise cloud.
Good morning / afternoon. It looks like I'm in front of you and your lunch, so I will try to be efficient in going through my presentation slides. Thank you for joining me today. So as was mentioned, I work in the HP Cloud Services division at HP. Our responsibility is for delivering a public cloud implementation, and we'll talk about the details in terms of what we're delivering and why as part of this presentation. I've been with HP for about 2 years. This division is about that old. So we're pretty young in terms of our both our technology and what we're providing to the marketplace. And as I'm seeing now, I don't have my clicker. There we go. So first and foremost, just to give a little bit of context, and for this audience, this is sort of telling you what is obvious, and that is that we're in the middle of a whole new set of waves of innovation that are happening in the marketplace, being driven by a variety of things, but resulting in the types of transactions and proliferation and global volume of data that has really been unprecedented, even though we've been seeing this coming for some time. And as you'll see, there's a set of waves of innovation that leave a tremendous amount of legacy. Each of the items to the left of this slide don't go away as new innovation waves come along. They're still there. They still have to be dealt with. They still have to be integrated into technology plans and IT plans, especially when you're dealing with large enterprises. Anyone who works in a very large enterprise probably knows most of them still have mainframe applications running in the current cloud environment. But as providers of IT technology to the marketplace and as consumers of IT technologies in the marketplace, we have to continue to provide these innovations and these new waves of capability to help companies and developers consume and exploit these new capabilities. And as you can see, every 60 seconds now, with the cloud as being one of the drivers of this innovation, there are a tremendous amount of both transactions and data and connectivity that need to happen as part of this new paradigm. And when you're looking at this from an enterprise IT perspective, it really is about BYOD, bring your own device. As much as enterprises have tried to ensure they can standardize and limit the types of devices and the types of transactions happening within their environments, it really is unrealistic. What the reality is consumers, which include employees in big enterprises, are going to continue to consume this new wave of technology using devices of their choice, using applications of their choice, and using environments of their choice. And the IT environment has to adapt to that. It's really about a whole new wave of bite-sized applications and bite-sized interactions and a proliferation of global transactions delivered when needed and where needed, regardless of location. So this is true inside an enterprise environment as well as to us as consumers. And so the cloud makes the logical back end. If you think in terms of these waves of technology, the client server was really sort of PC and department level server environments. Well, when you've got a proliferation of devices generating millions or even billions of transactions in a given hour or day, the cloud makes the most sense for that server back end. The cloud will be able to adapt, both growing and shrinking, as sort of a breathing environment that allows these transactions to grow and shrink as their requirements, their infrastructure requirements grow and shrink, which based on those waves of innovation and the types of transactions that are happening is mostly just growing. There isn't too much shrinking happening. But again, the nature of the cloud as a dynamic delivery model is that it can respond to the nature of those transactions, both in terms of location, globally, and in terms of volume, expanding and contracting as needed. And what's being generated by all of that is an overwhelming amount of data, an overwhelming amount of information. Information about transactions, information generated by transactions, metadata about transactions, And all of that information is potentially valuable to enterprises as they try to determine the best way to address their markets and their customers. So analytics in understanding what's being consumed, how it's being consumed, where it's being consumed, both by consumers of enterprise customer or enterprise solutions and employees, what the IT still has to deliver to its own internal constituents. And the best way to do that is through a set of flexible and capable software and hardware initiatives, which HP provides, to be able to collect, analyze, and create information out of big lumps of data. But the applications themselves also need to be managed in a much more dynamic way. So it's about orchestration and about allowing cloud-based infrastructure to meet consumer or mobile-based demand and mobile-based devices seamlessly across multiple delivery models. Now, hybrid delivery in this case is talking not just about multiple clouds, for example, participating in this environment, but really multiple delivery models within cloud infrastructure. So if you look at what happens in an IT environment, you have a set of legacy applications, a traditional IT, generally monolithic, generally single location, generally heavily invested set of infrastructure that meets IT demands for most corporations they have in place today. A lot of those environments, traditional IT environments, are migrating towards a cloud delivery model for their internal delivery. This is a private cloud, right? So it's behind the firewall, it's for internal consumption, but it needs that same sort of dynamicism as a public cloud would, the ability to have services come and go as needed and as demanded within the IT infrastructure behind the firewall. Those are sort of your build delivery models. You build your traditional IT, you build a private cloud around traditional IT, and you service your internal constituents as part of your IT infrastructure. And then there's the consume side, which is I want to be able to consume services as an IT provider as I need them. I want to work that as an operating expense, not a capital expense. I don't want to own the data centers. I want to use the data centers. And from HP, we provide a couple of options there. A managed cloud environment, which is basically an outsourced IT version of the private cloud. It's cloud because it provides that dynamicism and delivery of services, but it's not owned by the IT company or the enterprise. It's owned by HP and leased back. And then, of course, there's your traditional public cloud, and that's really where I come from, where we're providing a set of infrastructure services, compute and storage, that are available to basically anyone with a credit card and can come to our portal and use that infrastructure for the delivery of both IT enterprise and non-IT enterprise applications and environments. So if you look at what gets delivered in that hybrid delivery model, if you're an Amazon user, chances are you're probably either a startup or somebody developing applications in the media space. That's one of the common places that Amazon Web Services are consumed today. What we at HP are looking at is enabling production cloud workloads. And what do we mean by that? Well, there's really within the enterprise a couple of different major categories of applications that consume infrastructure. There's sort of your traditional IT environment. We mentioned that on the traditional kind of legacy IT infrastructure. And these are applications heavily invested by companies to deliver usually mission-critical, business-oriented, generally internal-facing IT workloads, IT applications. And then there's more distributed, more horizontally scaled, more fault-tolerant type of applications, web services and web environments that still deliver on IT applications, IT infrastructure, IT priorities within the enterprise. The ability for these applications to move to the cloud varies depending on how scalable they are and how adaptable they are to the cloud environment. The traditional applications tend to focus more on reliability, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week uptime, There's generally a huge cost to the business in any downtime in these applications, and they're not today that ready to move into the enterprise, into the cloud environment. They tend to be too critical and too expensive when they go down to allow them to be in a dynamic delivery model. There's another set of applications that are ready to go. So most of those are being delivered, or at least being considered to be delivered, part of the cloud infrastructure today, or very soon, as they're being re-architected, or in some cases built from scratch, to be kind of cloud ready, cloud savvy, cloud capable. But both of these workloads, over time, in order for the enterprise to take full advantage of the cost advantages and the service delivery advantages of the cloud, have to become public cloud ready. Whether they're delivered by public cloud or by a private cloud environment that looks and acts like public cloud, they still need to be in that delivery mode. They need to be, in some cases, re-architected, or in some cases, simply make the cloud environment more reliable, more predictable, and more capable so that they can support these kinds of workloads. This is the transition that most IT companies are in right now. This is where they're investing. They're investing in understanding which of their applications fit into which category. They're investing in moving those application workloads that they can, so they don't have to continue a CapEx investment to support those lighter weight applications. And they're continuing to look at if, when, and how they can move those more critical applications into this environment. So if you look back at what we're talking about in terms of that hybrid delivery thesis, we're talking about a variety of cloud workloads, some of which move very quickly and easily to the right of this diagram, and some are more weighted and anchored to the left of this diagram. And what really is going to help those things move forward on this diagram is getting very specific about how you orchestrate applications across this delivery model, and how do you approach and fulfill the service level agreement requirements that are going to be needed. Multiple levels of service level agreements depending on the nature of that application. The lighter weight ones, the ones that are more fault tolerant, the ones that don't need 24-hour a day, every minute, every second kind of availability, can have a much looser, less expensive service level agreement. And the ones that are more mission critical, the ones that really need to be running 24 hours a day, will have a higher level, generally more expensive service level agreement. And you also need to recognize that, as you being an IT professional, need to recognize that as you're deploying these, you may have a need to deploy internally on your existing infrastructure, but take advantage of the consume side of this, in which case you need to be able to orchestrate your applications across multiple delivery models. And that's really what we're talking about in terms of that hybrid delivery model. It's a combination of an orchestration capability and an SLA guarantee from the environments that you're running on. So now you can get flexibility in where you run your applications, how you take advantage of the costs and security differences in those environments, and how you manage those from an SLA and orchestration perspective. That's what we mean by seamless orchestration across the hybrid delivery model. If you accomplish seamless orchestration across hybrid delivery, now you've unleashed flexibility for the IT customer, the IT environment, to be able to take full advantage of their architectures, their capabilities, as well as yours, in our case as a service provider, HP Cloud Services. But one of the keys that needs to be developed to enable that, especially the seamless orchestration piece, is some commonality. It's possible to do a single workload that works on existing public cloud infrastructure and existing private cloud infrastructure, but it's very rare. Typically what happens is the public cloud infrastructure is built on something relatively proprietary, whether that be Amazon Web Services or a Google environment. It's something that's true and unique to the public cloud, exposed via APIs, but implemented in a black box form. Whereas in the private cloud, it tends to be extensions to virtualization, whether that's VMware or Citrix or something done in Red Hat or Windows Hyper-V, or there's a variety of solutions, but they are, again, generally all proprietary black box implementations done for private cloud environments. And as an IT manager, you have to worry about different deployment models, different development models, different tools for managing these environments, and it can get expensive and complex. Ideally, what you want to be able to do is, whether you're deploying private, internal, behind the firewall clouds, or managed clouds that you're renting from a managed service provider, or public cloud, it would be ideal to have the same operating system underneath all of that, the same platform, the same developer model, the same deployment models, the same management models, and create less complexity in managing this seamless integration and orchestration across hybrid delivery. And that's really why HP has moved into becoming a very strong supporter of OpenStack as a solution to this particular problem. For those of you who are not familiar with OpenStack, it's an open source project. It currently has a governance board of which HP is a member, and it's developed to provide compute storage infrastructure services across multiple cloud environments, both private and public. And HP is one of the largest contributors to the OpenStack project, along with several other commercial providers. So OpenStack has the benefit of being an open source project, of being independently governed, and also of having a lot of contributions and innovations contributed by multiple commercial providers. And it has a large developer community, of which HP is one of the primary contributors. So with those three things, commercial, open source capability, commercial partners, and a large developer environment, it's become a great platform for accelerating that seamless hybrid delivery promise, because you can now get the same common infrastructure built across private, hybrid, managed, and public cloud environments, which is the primary reason why HP has chosen that as a strategic technology for our cloud initiatives. And just to give you a little more background in terms of what HP is doing in the OpenStack community, we are a platinum member of the foundation, so we're one of the key decision participants in determining what OpenStack technologies are moving forward and at what pace. We're also a project policy board member, so we set policy in terms of how development is done. We're a member of the legal committee, so we get to influence and contribute to the licensing arrangements between both the commercial developers and those who are consuming the OpenStack environment. We have a tremendous number of project leads and individual developers who are contributing code into these projects. And we're doing a lot of that code contribution and code development based on our experiences in actually deploying this within our public and private cloud initiatives. So we are a key player in helping to ensure that that technology moves forward, and moves forward in an open manner designed to deliver on that hybrid delivery promise. We also, as a company, you may not think of HP top of mind when you think of open source companies, but HP has been a contributor to the open source projects from the early days of Linux and beyond. We're major contributors to all of the projects that you see here in the graphic, and are continually committed to ensuring that these projects remain vibrant, remain moving forward, remain open, and remain compatible with large commercial patent holders, which HP happens to be. So you'll see contributions on all of these projects coming from HP engineers, both individually and as product delivery groups. So taking those two things, our strategic view of the requirements in the marketplace, which is to move to this hybrid delivery orchestration, SLA-backed cloud delivery platform, and the use of OpenStack as a primary operating system for the cloud, what HP has done across a lot of the products that we provide today is put them under an umbrella of a strategy we called Converged Cloud. What Converged Cloud really talks about is taking advantage of those things I just described, taking advantage of an OpenStack platform, taking advantage of a hybrid delivery model, and our position in the marketplace as a provider of technology to all these delivery models, and put together a strategy across multiple product lines that delivers consistency, choice, and helps give enterprise customers the confidence they need to be able to securely deliver cloud production workloads across this hybrid delivery model. Excuse me. And then within our various product suites, we're delivering from the infrastructure level on up a set of capabilities and products that build out this converged cloud architecture. Starting, of course, with what we've provided for the cloud market for as long as the cloud market has been around, and that is our hardware infrastructure. We have what we call converged infrastructure, which is integrated, interoperable, and deployable servers, storage, and networking, all from a single vendor. And that provides both cost savings and deployment savings because these things are pre-integrated, work together, and install easily. So for those customers on the build side of the consumption for cloud, can build out infrastructure based on HP Converged infrastructure hardware and get the rest of the layers, the software that goes on top of it, starting with converged management and security. So HP software provides a whole series of products that help customers manage deployed infrastructure, cloud-based infrastructure, and secure that infrastructure, both locally and, as we'll see in the public cloud, on the public side as well for that hybrid delivery model. And the next up on that is big data and big data analytics. With our acquisitions of Vertica and Autonomy, we have the ability to collect and analyze and provide information from the volumes of data that get generated by those small applications doing small transactions globally every minute of every hour of every day, and get you business intelligence on top of data that's collected in this new environment. And then we also provide a common view into how you get access to those capabilities, be it management, data information, health checks on the infrastructure, et cetera. So this creates an entire architecture for deploying internally a private cloud or by leveraging externally a public cloud built on that same technology stack. So that brings it kind of all together. We're looking at production cloud workloads for the enterprise delivered across a hybrid delivery model of private, managed, and public, backed by strong service level agreements, and given the unique ability to orchestrate private to public, the same set of workloads, on a common operating system, cloud-based operating system. And that, in short, is our view of both cloud and enterprise cloud moving forward. And with that, I'd like to introduce you a little bit to the HP Public Cloud. This is HP Cloud Services, the division that I represent. I do the business development organization, which builds out our partner ecosystem and our strategic relationships with partners across the world. And just to give you a little background in terms of where we came from, we started out as an internal incubation project, actually originally standing up some technologies from HP Labs. And because of this emerging thesis on how enterprises are going to adopt cloud and their need to do something across a common platform, we made a determination about 18 months ago that the right strategic way forward for us as a public cloud is to base our infrastructure on an open source project. So we looked at all that were available at the time and recognized that the OpenStack community had the momentum, the developer base, and the commercial contribution and the legal frameworks that made sense for us as a public cloud provider, and joined that OpenStack community. I believe it was missing my arrow there, but it was June of 2011. In a very short period of time after making that decision, we were able to stand up a private beta implementation of our infrastructure as a service built across thousands of nodes, and began inviting customers and partners in to help us harden it and ensure that it was secure and reliable. And we worked on that private beta for about a 9-month period and moved into public beta in May of this year, where we allowed anybody to come in and sign up for the service and use it for both production workloads and for developer and traditional media web kind of environments as well. And today we've gone to general availability on our storage service and are still in public beta on a few of our other services, but are starting to see tremendous adoption amongst enterprise and non-enterprise workloads, leveraging our platform for compute, storage, content delivery, identity services, and some other services we'll show you here in a brief moment. So we are already a strong player in the public cloud market with additional services on our roadmap moving forward through the rest of this year and next year. So what we're delivering is the gray bar towards the bottom of this graphic, which is infrastructure as a service, compute, storage, CDN, etc. And the boxes in the center of this graphic represent the constituents that we're delivering to, starting first and foremost on the right, a set of platform services for developers. So this is a combination of database as a service, application frameworks coming both from HP and from a series of partners that give developers the tools they need to create next generation cloud-based applications. And we'll show you in a few minutes the breadth of partners we have in this space. But it really is focused on enabling HP Cloud Services to be a useful platform on which to develop and deploy cloud-based applications. We're also focused on SaaS and ISV workload hosting. So we want not only to be able to get developers writing apps for deployment in our cloud, but also get people who already have developed apps for other clouds or for internal environments, migrating those environments to our cloud. We've also built out a very strong partner ecosystem and are working on hybrid interoperability so that we can both make true our seamless integration and hybrid delivery model and our ability to cooperate with applications running in other public clouds that aren't based on OpenStack. And all of that is designed to be delivered through an HP marketplace. So we'll be creating an online marketplace where developers who've developed apps for our cloud, SaaS providers who've migrated to our cloud, partners who want to run with us in our cloud, and people who want to deliver hybridly across multiple clouds can publish and sell their wares. And here's a list of the types of partners we built out for that environment. This is a fairly extensive list, and you'll see it's also including some of HP's own products. So we have products in the monitoring space, we have products in the development and test space, and those are going to be published through our HP online marketplace for cloud, along with services and capabilities, in some cases enabling components, in some cases complete applications, and in some cases, peripheral things such as monitoring and security that help enhance the HP cloud as we build it out with additional capabilities and value for customers. So thus far, we've delivered a couple of services in general availability. This would be our object storage service and our content delivery network services. We're on the verge of going public, going to GA with our compute service. It's imminent. And we're in private beta for a block storage service, a relational database service based on MySQL, and then we have also available some identity services that sort of underpin the rest of these. And we have a roadmap for delivering a variety of other things, both directly from HP Cloud Services and also from the other HP divisions, HP Software, and the cloud system team that builds our cloud-enabled private cloud environments. So taking that together, what we're delivering is a set of infrastructure designed for developers and ISVs, delivered through a marketplace, supported by service level agreements, and a global customer support and service capability, and making that all open and interoperable for that hybrid delivery, seamless hybrid delivery orchestration, and are innovating on these cloud service capabilities at a tremendous rate. And for those of you who haven't done so yet, I would invite you to come and taste test the HP Cloud Services public cloud environment. Simply go to hpcloud.com, click on the sign up button, and we have a free access promotion that's been in place now for a couple of months and will continue. And that gives you credits towards consuming whatever services that you want to. So you can be consuming our compute services, you can consume our object storage services, you can consume our content delivery services, any combination thereof for a 3-month period based on this promotion. So I would invite you all to move to hpcloud.com on your mobile devices. You can do the sign up right here in the room. and give us your feedback on how you feel the service is working, and come visit us at any time. Thank you.
We always have time for a question, though, Dan.
Always have time for
always
questions.
Always have time for a question. So who would like to raise a hand? Over here.
Hi, could you please bring back slide with your customers?
Those are with our partners.
Partners.
I don't know if I can go back on this. Can I go back?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, that was a simple request.
That wasn't even a question.
That was a request.
The answer is yes, I can.
Oh, you really are competing with lunch.
Yeah, I think people's stomachs are growling. I can hear it.
Well, in which case, let's one more time thank Dan Baigent, please, from HP Cloud Services. I feel you've been a missing player on our stage.